We'll see if third or fourth time is a charm on this or not. I'm going to try my hand at showing a little bit of my process of encounter design for a tabletop RPG. I have no particular idea going into this. I have in front of me just a few books. Normally, I would probably have more, as I would have a little bit more space to set out, and I would just spend half an hour or so brainstorming. But I've got like Shadow Dark here. I have this recent acquisition, the GM Companion for Shadow Dark, Fantasy Tome of Lists, and Tome of Lists 2. I don't know if I'll end up using it or not, but I have Into the Weird and Wild sitting over here. Now I'm going to keep what I hope is this dice tray in focus with the camera. Who knows if it's going to stay in focus? You might not see as much of my writing, but that's okay because my handwriting is absolutely terrible. Now, I know that one of the charts that I want is in the beginning of this book here. I put in a little bookmark. So what I did not do on my first attempt at this, where I really managed to screw things up, is I didn't go through and select some random page, or not random, some pages and some charts to actually roll on. And that's what I'm going to do this time. Oh, you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to try to get a little bit of light. Hopefully that doesn't create too much shadow. So this first chart, this is an adventure name generator, and it's 3 rolls on a D30. So 23, Spire, 26, Spire, Shadow, and 6, Dream. So that would be the Spire of the Shadow Dream. That's not a bad name. I'm going to write that down. Spire of the Shadow Dream. And I'm going to do that one more time. 3, Catacomb, 21, of the Lethal, 11, Inquisitors. Catacomb of the Lethal Inquisitors. The it's my horrible handwriting too. So anyway, that's a couple of possible scenarios there. What do they mean? I don't know yet. Now I'm going to go through and just take a couple of other rolls here. This one is fantasy locations. It's a D100 roll. I'm going to do green first, only because it appears alphabetically first. That is 29. 29 is Diamond Mountain. This huge mountain is made entirely out of magic crystal that is hard. That is the hardest substance in the world. Diamond Mountain. Okay, and I'm going to roll one more time here. 13. City of Dreams. Hey, that fits in. City of Dreams. This city allows people's wishes and dreams to come true. But how these dreams are realized can sometimes be unexpected and deadly. Okay. City of Dreams. All right. Next, let's go with fantasy quests. Sure. So 33, falling star. Your party must stop an evil wizard from causing a comet to crash into the world. So, falling star. Stop a wizard from crashing a comet. Okay. And 25. Eternal darkness. A kingdom has fallen into eternal night. So your party has been hired to find and destroy the source of this darkness. Find and destroy the source of darkness. All right. On to a new chart. What are we looking at here? Magic artifacts, a D66. Blue, because it's alphabetically first. That is not any kind of rule on how you determine it. It's just how I'm going to do things to make things easy for myself right now. 62, Soul Jar. This artifact can permanently trap a nearby phantasm, ghost, or spirit. Soul Jar. And 12, Anvil of Life. Any object created on this magical anvil will be instilled with life. Oh, that's interesting. I can already see something like, if I wanted to do something like that, the soul jar and the anvil of life being connected right off. The next chart I'm going to look at is some magic relics. This is a D300. So I'm going to do for the D300 is I'm going to use a D3, this D100, and we're going to go, one is the first 100, two is 100 and the other is 200 and. So 204. 204. What do we have? 204. Pole of catching. This magic fishing pole attracts fish to its hook that guarantees that it will always catch a fish. Okay. Magic fishing line. Fishing pole. All right, that doesn't seem to connect in with much, that at least not as I'm thinking about it. This would be 145. 145. And, you in the future might see me screw up on some of my use of the dice. I don't know. Horn of Storms. This magic horn causes severe storms over an ocean when it blows. So Horn of Storms. Of sea storms, I'm going to call it, since it mentions that. Okay. And that's all I've got from this volume that I have marked. And then go into this volume. Final bosses could be interesting. So D100, 65, 65. Nameless King. This ancient lich has the ability to control the minds of thousands of people at the same time. Ancient Lich King. Mind controls thousands. Okay. And the second roll, 53. 53. Iron Revenant. This gigantic artifact titan is the size of a mountain, and it protects its original forge. Oh, we got a forge again. Iron Revenant. Giant protecting its forge. Okay. And another chart. This is going to be Magic Oddities. No, D50, so we're just going to divide or take whatever. This is, I can't use my thoughts. This is 45. 45. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. 45. Ring of stretching. Magic ring makes a person's body stretch when it is worn. Ring of stretching. And 48. Unbreakable thread. Unbreakable thread. And that is magic thread that can never be broken. Well, that pretty much sums that up. Let's see. I think these are actually the other bookmarks in here are not for this project. They're things that I had left over from something that I was doing. Is that correct? Yeah. Pickpocketed contents and rare magic components. Those were for other things that I was doing. Okay. So I'm going to also flip to this book, to Shadow Dark. Something happens. This is a D100 chart. So we have 70. A stampede of wild animals. And I'm actually going to just go to... I know there was something in here that I found interesting. Magic items, magic utility. Well, let's just go back to points of interest. And we have a mountain as one of these things, so I'm going to look at points of interest for a mountain. I believe that is an option. Yes, points of interest for a mountain. And this is a D20 roll. 14. Dwarven Ruin. And I think it looks like there's a separate column. I don't think it's supposed to be read across because this is protected by invisible barrier. I think that's the second thing. So Dwarven Ruin, 17, with a hazard. And we'll go terrain hazard, mountain hazard. So Dwarven Ruin, this is going to be 2d6. We have blue is going to be across the top. Green will be down. No, it doesn't matter. I rolled snake eyes. Fast flowing streams. So Dwarven Ruin with fast flowing streams. Fast flowing streams. And I think I will try one more. It's going to be from Into the Weird and Wild. Just checking my time. I can just barely see the time, and I still have a few minutes. This is going to be the Weird and Wild Encounter chart. This is a D50. So that's going to be a 3. Cherub Choir. 1d6, 6. Indifferent. Their recent kills lie scattered among the brush. Okay. Indifferent cherub choir. Help if I spell choir right. Not that I spelled much of anything else correctly. The cherub, that's these horrifying beasties. Yeah, they're gross. There's some really weird stuff in Into the Weird and Wild. I guess that's where the name comes from. All right, I'm going to set these to the side and see if I can move things in such a way that this is going to be visible. You'll see my horrible serial killer handwriting. So these are just the notes that I wrote down from these quick rolls on the charts. What will I do with this? Now, I would have another piece of paper where I would actually start to formulate ideas. But again, this is brainstorming. We have some things that maybe kind of match up. Spire of the Shadow Dream. That. We also have City of Dreams. We also have, let's see, I know there was something else. Well, this ancient Lich King with the mind control, I'm going to make those crosses so that they stand out a little more, to me anyway. The fishing jar. And stop a wizard from crashing a comet, maybe. Find and destroy a source of darkness. I kind of like those. So these things start to mesh a little bit. Spire of the Shadow Dream and a City of Dreams. If we're dealing with dreams, we're dealing with possibly a Lich King who can do mind control. And I don't know what the magic fishing pole has to do with anything, but it just seemed like something from a dream realm that could just be, honestly, maybe that doesn't even show up. I don't know. It didn't really mesh with anything else that I was thinking about in here. Find and destroy a source of darkness. That could be a good thing to do. The source of darkness might be this Lich King, which maybe the mind control is that's what the darkness is. The Lich King is making that happen. I don't know. Now, Catacomb of the Lethal Inquisitors. I don't know if that's going to mesh with anything or not. I'll put the circle there. I don't know. But we do have this Diamond Mountain. And we do have stop a wizard from crashing a comet. I kind of like these things connected. So I'm going to make a star next to those two. And then we also have things that I thought might be well connected is this soul jar, the anvil of life, the iron revenant, and the unbreakable thread, and possibly the dwarven ruins. Because here if we have the unbreakable thread and a diamond mountain, that, it didn't say it was necessarily diamond, but that it was the hardest substance. Maybe the dwarves were mining a specific material, your mithril type thing. They're mining a certain material that's used to create this unbreakable thread. So that's connected. And they're, obviously using the Diamond Mountain. But then you have this wizard, for whatever reason, has decided they're going to try to crash a comet into this mountain and destroy it. You're trying to stop that. Now, the dwarves are no longer there. It does say a dwarven ruin. Why? Maybe because they created this Iron Revenant, or somebody did, it's now rampaging in the place. You've got your fast-flowing rivers, which you can use just for your terrain types or whatever. And maybe your goal at some point is going to be to collect X number of soul jars, getting spirits collected into these soul jars. The soul jars may be also made from material from the Diamond Mountain. You collect these materials, and then eventually you can forge something, a new weapon, a new creature that can help you fight. Make a weapon that can help you fight the Iron Revenant. So that's just a loose sketch of how I might put together some stuff. Now, this turned out to really end up being more adventure ideas than necessarily an encounter. But I would do an encounter in a similar way where I would go through and I would find something. So maybe if I'm just trying to do an encounter out of this, I would look through and, we have the indifferent cherub choir. So this cherubs, these horrible little baby-headed bird critters, have recently feasted, and so they don't really care. But they can still be a danger. Maybe they make a lot of noise or something like that. And maybe our encounter location is just this dwarven ruin. So you have your dwarven ruin, you have your cherubs. You need to get past them, but you've also got the fast-flowing rivers. And let's see, what else would fit in there? I don't know. Maybe something that you could find would be this ring of stretching. It seems weird, but maybe. Or actually, this horn of sea storms might be really cool. Maybe the dwarves were mariners, and the fast-flowing rivers, they used to. Maybe this is like near a port or some kind of dwarven cave system that comes out into the ocean, and so you end up having that. And maybe that is where your magic fishing pole comes in. I don't know. It's just how I might reinterpret some of this stuff. Now, if I was doing this for real, I would sit down a little longer. I would find more charts that would just have different ideas. Again, with maybe not into the weird and wild, but with this, I might go through and I might find something, take a different chart, or like I might also throw something on from ruins. And for ruins, 62, 2 dwarven miners, soldiers, shore up collapsing wall. So these are dwarven ruins, but here's some dwarves in there. What are they doing? Are they a rival adventuring group? I don't know. We find out. And, that's basically it. I like to brainstorm like that. And it's what I use the random charts for, because I wasn't going to sit down and think of a mountain, a giant diamond mountain and unbreakable thread that dwarves create in there. That wasn't something I was going to come up with. It was, I might come up with something else, but this breaks me out of my own thought circles, and I find it kind of helpful. So hopefully this all came out. Hopefully stuff was actually in focus, and I think actually appears on camera this time instead of off to the side like it did on my first attempt and second attempt. Anyway, until next time, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. I might try to do some others. I'd like to get this camera slightly higher up, slightly further away, because when it goes onto video, it gets really zoomed in. But I don't think there's any way I can actually do that with my current situation. So I have some ideas. I'll see if I can do something with that at some point in the future. Until next time, take care.